Okay, back, Lesson 4, Part 5. Lesson 4, Part 5, the final part in Lesson 4. And this is going to take care of a couple days for the second week of Summer Session 1, Rec 250 Online. Lesson 4, Part 5, a couple days worth of lecture videos here. And we're discussing adventure program classifications, or the classifications of groups that you'll be working with. Some groups are just interested in a recreational time, where they're not going to spend a lot of time discussing and debriefing and reflecting. Not everybody wants to do that. And then there's some groups that need to do that. They're building a team, and so they're like, okay, we need to really figure out, why we're not working together well. Can you help us with that? Kind of a thing, all the way to groups who need participating with facilitation-based leadership, who are part of a treatment program, or outpatient therapeutic program. So now we're looking at these three different facilitation models, facilitation models that you'll have to know for your test. So let's start talking about the first one. The first one is the mountain speaks for themselves model. The mountain speaks for themselves. This you can see this on page 33 in your note packet. Page 33 in your note packet. The mountains speak for themselves. Okay, this type of processing relies on the experience itself to be so powerful or influential that it produces the global change integration necessary to achieve the specific therapeutic objective. Okay, what that means is that your activity, remember brief, activity, debrief, your activity is powerful, and it's challenges the group to the point where you don't even need to have a discussion. They're just going to learn what they need to learn. It's a bit out there, but examples include NOLS, National Outdoor Leadership School, some outward bound courses where you're challenged to really rise above it. For example, you're out sea kayaking and you're out there with the group, and the leaders are out there too. Storm comes in, high swells, and you have to navigate your boat, and you have to paddle really hard, lots of wind, and you have this natural, challenging activity. This natural, or it doesn't have to be natural, but you just have this challenging activity where at the end you feel different. You've learned from that. It's you're going to be a better person because of that experience. That would be the mountain speaks for themselves model. Now, there are some facilitators who appreciate that model more than some of the others, and they don't debrief much. They don't ask a lot of questions, but they are really good at providing or facilitating very potent, very strong challenge-based activities. And a lot of coaches fall into this category, where it's really about the powerful activity and what happens in the activity, and the participants are left to kind of figure it out on their own in terms of how it benefited them emotionally, intellectually, and personally. So that's that. It gives some examples here. Talks about there's a challenge course, which is a ropes course, which we talked about in this class, and kind of an adventure activity. And it talks about how a young woman is learning to rock climb. This is on the top of page 34. The problems she needs to solve are simple and straightforward. The difficulties are easy to identify and define, as are the actions necessary to solve them. Tackling the rock pitch, the slanting crack, the holdless section, the climber takes the difficulties one at a time and works them out. After the anxiety of the adventure recedes, she feels a surge of confidence. I did that. From all this, the woman may generalize about problem solving, cooperation, communication, and the nature of dependency in certain situations. I probably wouldn't, but somebody can do that in their head. The outdoor environment presents these concepts boldly so that they can hardly be missed. If these processes had served me here, she may reason, then perhaps they will do so in my world in general. So what that's saying is she is transferring the learning. She is in the action level, the now what stage of debriefing. The third step in debriefing. She just did that on her own. She climbed the difficult rock climb. She came down. She felt good without any with minor leader interaction, she came up with that on her own. That, wow, if I can climb a rock, then I can certainly tackle some of the more minor challenges in my life. Great. That's the Mountain Speaks for Themselves model. Number 2 is the Outward Bound Plus model, and this is where most of you, including myself, will facilitate within. What this model says is that you'll run good, powerful activities, and you'll have discussions afterwards. Looking at the middle bottom, page 34, it says the OBP model is an expansion of the MST, but it relies on powerful eventual experiences, but also, in bold there it says, assists participants learning by incorporating group processing techniques, which is the debrief, asking strategic questions, and looking for insightful answers. And you can see there in the on the next page, on page 30, okay, page 35, is an example there. Talks about talking about climbing again. It says, with group support, placement of appropriate safety systems, and necessary technical training, the patients, sounds like this is outpatient, ascended. They climbed. The instructor made sure that each patient understood that the only expectation was to try the rock climbing. Prior to the return trip to the hospital with this outpatient group, a group debriefing was associated with the patient's therapeutic goals and objectives related to rock climbing, and the facilitators helped make the link between the risk to climb the rock and taking the risk to stay drug-free while back in the community. What a powerful metaphor and a powerful debrief after somebody's experienced rock climbing for the first time all day, and then that evening is debriefed by professional facilitators, asked good, insightful questions about the link between rock climbing, the challenges associated with that, to the challenges associated with staying drug-free back in their community. All right. Lastly, we're looking at the metaphoric model, MM, and that's down towards the bottom of page 35, the metaphoric model, MM. The MM empowers participants to focus on developmental behavioral issues and begin to change them during the activity. This is a new and interesting concept. First model is based on the activities, got to be strong and powerful, and then the individual and the group, without any debriefing, figures out what they learn. Second model is that there's a good, powerful activity, and then the facilitators ask questions and help the group introspect about their behavior and about what they did during the activity and how they can learn. This third model actually uses metaphors to try to create change during the activity, or to create change while the activity is going on. And here is a pretty good example. Unfortunately, since this is an online class, I can't do any of these examples with you, which we do in the in-person class. But you'll try to bear with me and expand your mind a bit. There is a challenge course example in the middle of page 36. So in the middle of page 36, here's what we're looking at. It says, each of you will be getting up here, which is a trust fall platform about it's about 5.5 feet tall. Trust fall platform about 5.5 feet tall, and holding onto this tree before falling backwards. And what the setup is that if you can imagine a platform about 5 feet up, connect to a tree. The person stands on the platform, holds onto the tree, and their back is facing a group of people with their arms out in a line. And on the count of 3, that person falls backwards, not forwards, but backwards, so they can't see, stiff as a board, into the arms of these other people. And it's called the trust fall, or some kind of, there's different names for it, but it's very difficult and very scary activity. Okay, so it's a very powerful activity. And it says, hold on to this tree before falling backwards. And here's where the metaphors come in to try to create change while an activity is going on versus in the discussion afterwards. And says, I don't want you to think of it as a tree anymore. I want you to think of it as the most powerful factor responsible for your using alcohol. Okay, this is an AA group. After you hold on to it for a while, the tree that is, for 30 seconds, I'm asking you to let go, to give up and let go of whatever keeps you drinking, and fall back towards these people. And don't be surprised if you feel a little nervous. Any addict has at least some love for his or her old lifestyle, no matter how much he or she really wants to change it. Okay, so what's happening here is by using metaphors, you're getting the participant during the activity to think about their behavior, to introspect while it's going on. And this is very popular. And a lot of patients will get up, they'll hold on to the tree, but they won't fall back. So they will be unsuccessful, and that'll be just as powerful for them because they're not ready to give it up yet. And so this is an example of change being fostered or change happening during the activity. And so as a facilitator, that facilitator is briefed and is prepared to facilitate this type of process. So there you go, 3 different facilitation styles, facilitation methods that are used working with groups to have them have a good, powerful learning and change-based experience. Okay, that concludes Lesson 4. I'll see you for Lesson 5.